Cricket et al. It's a website. It's a podcast.
Pete, it's a way of life. It's Gideon Hagover here.
Peter Lawler over here.
And welcome to Cricket et al., your independent cricket podcast. First day of the third test match at Sabina Park. And another fascinating one. Australia's first overseas pink ball test. And it's unfolded as you would hope a pink ball test would. With, a long period of sort of seeming inactivity of 3 wickets in the first 2 sessions and 8 in the last. And it's just been red hot, hasn't it, that last session, Pete?
It sure has. Seeming inactivity. There was a degree of seam in those first 2 sessions as well, Gideon. But
that's true.
As we've learnt, haven't we, over the years, there are 2 distinct sessions in a pink ball test, and that one that comes after dark, everything changes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it was almost like the Australians had it in their mind that this was how it was going to play out. I almost felt like they batted, knowing that it was inevitable that they'd get out, and really and actually wanting a crack at the other side. It almost seemed like they were in a hurry to bowl.
I'm sure they did. I mean, I'm sure that's why Cummins has batted first today, because you bat when you know the conditions, and when you can be guaranteed 2 sessions of reasonable batting. And the test matches have been running away, haven't they? They've been so short. And, of course, that's why Australia's left out Nathan Lyon in expectation of a short test, even though Lyon is apparently the second best wicket taker in pink ball test matches. But they've gone with the extra seamer. What did you think of that?
I thought it was a curious decision, to be honest with you. You're absolutely right about that. I've got that stat here. Mitchell Starc, 14 tests, 75 wickets at 17.9. Lyon is the second, 13 tests with 43 wickets, and has done very well in Adelaide at different times. Yeah. Shows you how good Starc is, doesn't it? Thought it was a curious decision. Can't have sat well with Nathan Lyon, can it, to have been pulled out, particularly when it's, no, you're like one of those women in the Bible who's lost a shekel or a sheep or something, aren't you? You even when you've played 150 million games like Nathan, you rue the ones you miss. Yeah. And he'll particularly not like not playing in his mate's 100th test match.
Yeah.
And he will look up and say, well, the West Indies have brought Warrican in. They brought their spinner back in for this match. Yeah. And I think they bowled 10 overs of spin up till the first break or the second break.
Yeah, and it did spin.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they were probably trying to make sure that their pace bowlers were fresh coming into the final session, because I think Alzari Joseph was off the field. They were a bit worried about getting through that last session. But they've rung the changes, haven't they, the West Indies, because they've also brought on Mikel Lewis instead of Braithwaite. Kevlin Anderson's come in for his first test match ahead of Carey. Teven Imlark is the 12th man, or at least the substitute fielder.
I didn't know that.
Oh, that's just a magnificent name, isn't it? That is like a Star Wars character. And actually, for all you complain about the decline of West Indies cricket, their names have maintained the standard, haven't they? Gudakesh Moti and Veerasamy Permal and Neelon Pascal, Blaze's brother. This Kevlon's up there too. Kevlon's Prince Kevlon of the planet Narg. It's they're still quite euphonious, West Indian cricket names.
Yeah, he's from Guyana, isn't he? Hey, we've raced into this without actually announcing the score. We've buried the lead a little bit, haven't we?
Sorry.
Australians bowled out for 225. West Indies, after a difficult 9-over spell, I think it was, 1 for 16. And I'll tell you what, you'd take that for the West Indies.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Particularly when you're having to play not 1 but 2 ersatz openers, because both Mikel Lewis and
Kevlin Anderson.
Anderson. No. Well, Kevlin Anderson came in as the replacement.
Brandon
John
King
Campbell. John Campbell took that one at short leg, so he's off. Mikel Lewis went down. Got his knee stuck in the turf, didn't he? It looked innocuous, but apparently they've both left the ground. So they weren't even in the dressing room when the West Indies innings started.
You're right. Greaves has left the ground as well.
Is that right? Right. Okay.
Yes, he's gone for scans. I'm not quite sure when. Yeah.
Right. Well, obviously, I think Shamar came off in the last session too. Everyone obviously wants to have a go. They're seeing other blokes put their feet up. Well, maybe I should have a rest as well.
I tell you what, though, it's the late start, I guess, led to this. But that was the hottest first session. The photographers came upstairs at lunch and just said, man, it has never been that hot, this series. And making the way to the ground, I mean, I think I was wet with sweat for the first hour after I sat in the press box. It was stinking hot, and there was a big easterly blowing off the North Atlantic too, which they said was hotter than the air temperature. So I don't know what that says about.
Well, the last session looked hot too. I could see the shirts clinging to the backs of the pace bowlers within a couple of overs.
Yeah, so, But as you said, Gids, there was a lot of good cricket, a lot of really fascinating cricket. Really enjoyed the first two sessions, watching the Australians bat. And to a degree, I mean, look, the West Indies bowled well, but you would bowl well in those conditions. I mean, the ball was doing a hell of a lot. There's a lot of grass on this wicket. There's even live grass on this wicket. The pink ball swinging. We saw some data, from anonymous sources who can't reveal themselves because of blah blah blah, that it was seeming up to about 3 degrees in that first session. On the television, they said it was an average of 1 degree, which was the highest for the whole series, and that's the seam. I think in some situations that magnitude of seam actually isn't as dangerous as less seam. It's the one that gets the edge of your bat, not the one that beats you by a foot, isn't it?
You want one that moves about a quarter of a bat width, don't you?
So we got an hour.
But the West Indies have dropped a few as well, and they made it just that little bit more difficult. They've been doing that all series, of course. And
yes, well, Anderson welcomed himself to the team by doing what the slips do. And
hasn't had a great first day, has he?
No, he dropped Constas on 1.
Who should have been run out.
Correct. He'd given that one up, hadn't he?
Up.
Yeah. But he sort of, he got himself to 17. He didn't look too bad at times, but he's coming off a very low base. Batted for an hour, 53 deliveries before. Did you notice, Gideon, today that he'd set himself up quite differently?
Yeah. He's batting on basically on off.
Probably fourth stump line, I reckon, from when you look from behind.
I don't know. I hate those off stump guards. I think it can actually get you going at more deliveries. I know the theory is that it enables you to leave everything outside your eye line, but the way it impedes your access to the straight ball is, I think, very problematic. And that's the way that it proved in the end, didn't it? He's missed a straight one.
Essentially, yes, he's found himself overbalanced too far across and, toppled over and being done LBW by Greaves there.
Yeah.
But look, he survived an hour in not easy conditions, but it's not going to be that innings is not going to be enough to save him should he continue to fail.
No.
I was really impressed by Usman Khawaja. I thought he battled really well. 92 deliveries. He got through to. Sure. He sure battled. He got through to lunch. What was the score at lunch? I've got it there. 1 for 50 at lunch. Now
he was 16 off 71 at lunch.
Yeah. But look, it was that hard. And look, he started to play a few strokes, played the pull stroke. He drove a few through the offside. He missed a hell of a lot. And look, I think you could judge just how difficult it was when he actually charged Shamar Joseph.
Yeah.
so early.
A short one. Yeah.
Got a short one and ended up copping it in the shoulder. A few really whizzed past his nose. But to eke out that 2 hours was critical, I reckon. If you look at the last test match, they're forward. You got Travis Head out batting with 20 minutes before lunch in the last test in the first innings.
Yeah. I mean,
it enables Stephen Smith to start in the afternoon when the edge has gone off the game a little bit. And it had the added advantage that by that point, Alzari Joseph had bowled his 7 overs and wasn't seen again. Yeah. So Smith was actually greeted by 2 spinners pretty early in his innings, which is, and yet again, he comes out there and he looks like he's playing a different game to everybody else.
Astounding, isn't it? Although he did,
him and Alex Carey
he did push and run on 0 into the covers.
That was ridiculous. Yeah,
and just sort of had to turn around, lick at his split. Green sent him back. That was a real Steve Smith moment. But fortunately, Green had the presence of mind to see that there wasn't one there.
What did you make of Green?
Once again, I think Green benefited from having Smith at the other end. I think that's that's hugely settling.
He batted. He put on 40 with Khawaja, so they batted for quite some time together as well.
Yep. Yeah. Look, he was once again a little bit lucky early on. That's what you need. He was, I think the first handful of balls he was beaten twice by Greaves. Another day you nick those. He missed them. He got lucky with that review, that classic review. I don't know much like the DRS, but I have to admit that sometimes when it does get exciting when you're counting down the seconds and the batter makes the shape on the 15th second, which is what he did today. And it turns out, I reckon naked eye, it looked out, but it was missing leg.
Well, I reckon he owes that to Khawaja because I don't reckon he was going for it himself.
Yeah,
I think he was about to walk off, and I think Khawaja said, "Look, I reckon I'd send that up."
Yeah,
I don't know that for certain, but it looked like that from here. Yeah, you're right. Look, but you are going to play a mess in conditions like this, and you can get a nick early.
I think sometimes with those reviews, when you're a little bit anxious and you're a little bit younger, you feel a little bit reluctant to use them. And it's good when your partner, when your senior partner gives you permission to do it. You might not have you're always guarded against the possibility that if you don't review it, turns out the ball's missing, and that's terrible. But you also hate to burn a review at the same time. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I don't think without Khawaja's guidance, he would have been able to refer that to the third.
And look, we can only measure them against we can only measure the Smith and Green's innings against everybody else in the sides, and then against the oppositions when they bat. But that 46 runs is head and shoulder. With it and Smith's 48, they stand out. Nobody else has reached 25.
Yeah,
in that inning.
Did he struggle a bit with his timing today? I noticed that when he drives through the covers, the bat seems to turn in his hand. He's not as convincing out there as he is in the V, down the ground. But also, I mean, that might have been something to do with the pitch. I did notice he played the reverse sweep today. I've seen him play the reverse sweep too often. He reverse swept Chase for 3, actually hit it on the full toss. So that's a good addition to his repertoire. But then he's got bowled by Seals, isn't he? Seals beat his outside edge, and then next ball hit the top of off.
It was a beautiful delivery.
It was an absolute great, wasn't it? Yeah.
I mean, that's going to get a lot of batters out, and he set him up nicely too, didn't he?
Yeah.
That one that straightened after the others had followed the line. Yeah, I thought that was a pretty good innings. I reckon that's another positive step for Cameron Green. I know no one will ever be that totally convinced that he's a number 3, but he's starting to make a fist of it.
Well, he's starting to make a fist of it in tough batting conditions.
Yeah,
and he's he's stepped up. That's what the team needs. That's where the vacancy opened. He hasn't been reluctant about taking that step. And grew a little bit in stature today. Yeah. Smith, well, jeez, I mean Smith, those 3 boundaries he took off Greaves, they're just otherworldly, aren't they? Just the degree of control that he showed today. It was so astonishing when he got out. But I think maybe he got into that mindset, didn't he, after tea, of thinking, well, if it's a bit wide, I'm going to throw my hands in it. He slashed it over the slips, didn't he, to go to 46, and then he repeats it. He was dropped. There was a caught and bowl, wasn't it? Warwican dropped the caught and bowl very
he smashed it back at him. He was a bit slow getting down to it. A more athletic man might have pouched it, but it would have been a pretty bloody good catch, I think. Yeah,
I did get obsessed at one point about the number of Test matches that have hosted Test match venues that have hosted namesakes, because I remembered that Steve Smith, the earlier Steve Smith, played his last Test match at Kingston in 1984.
Got 100. Oh, no, he didn't. Sorry. No, he didn't. Sorry, I'm wrong about that. Yes.
Had his finger busted by John Garner.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, he didn't even bat in the second innings, was it?
No,
AB got 60, didn't he? Yeah.
He did.
That's right. I was thinking of Peter Toohey getting the 100 in the previous Test.
Yeah. So I started to look up Test match venues that had hosted namesake cricketers. I noticed that Faisalabad and Peshawar hosted both Ijaz Ahmeds. I dare say that 2 Andy Robertses from New Zealand probably played. And no, actually, they probably, because Andy Roberts played his entire career in the subcontinent. So I dare say Andy Roberts of the West Indies played a few in the subcontinent. And then I realised there are 2 John Reeds. And they played quite a lot of Test matches, and they probably played at all the New Zealand venues. So at that point, I lost interest. But if anyone else wants to do a deep dive on that, get into the Cricket Tale chat and fill me in.
Yeah, I was looking back
at the great thing about Test cricket, isn't it, Pete? Allows you just that
rabbit
moment
holes
to go down a complete rabbit hole.
Yeah, I was looking at some of those past tests here. Clive Lloyd played his 100th Test match at this ground.
Yeah, right. Interesting.
Yeah. Something he has in common with Mitchell Starc.
Brandon King is and Campbell are locals, aren't they? I think.
Are they? Yeah. Yeah, I'll take your word for that.
And I saw Lawrence Rowe in the crowd today, as well as Andre Russell.
Yes,
so there might have been a bit of a back to Kingston movement. Yeah,
Lawrence Rowe is here with his Australian biographer.
Yep. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ashley?
Yeah.
Excellent book. The Unforgiven. Yeah.
He's following him around to do something else, I think.
Yeah. Cool. Excellent. What a lovely player. What a beautiful player. Pete, that left us with actually Brandon King took quite a nice catch, I thought, to get rid of Smith today. That one up there.
Yeah, I agree. That was flying. Yeah.
And then Joseph nicked off Webster, and all of a sudden, like the game's accelerating, isn't it? And Head and Carey, well, they're the great accelerators. They've come in. South Australian has pointed out to me that South Australians have won their man of the match in Australia's last 3 Test wins.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good.
Carey.
Right. Australia lost 8 for 68.
They did, bloody hell. Yeah.
Yeah, they lost 7 for not much in that last session. Yeah. I think I wrote about it half an hour ago, but I've forgotten what it was already. There's my match report. I should just look it up, shouldn't I?
Carey's past
if anyone's looking for a match report, it's on cricketedl.com. Yeah,
very good. Did you get Carey getting his 2,000 Test run?
No, I didn't get that. I'm not good on stats.
With a 6 off Greaves? Yeah.
Oh, was it the Greaves 6 that brought it up?
Yeah.
Carey is another one that, like Smith, comes out and looks like he's playing a different game.
Yeah.
But, I was thinking before when you're talking about Smith, I reckon that probably the most fun you can have in cricket is watching Steve Smith put together an innings on a really difficult wicket.
Yes.
Especially when you have the context of everybody else around him.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about that Pune Test the other day, weren't we?
Yeah, you were, weren't you?
The 100 I remember there. Just no one else could bat on that surface. No. And he totally owned it. They dropped him twice. And I remember thinking at the time, it's because the fielders know how important it is to catch him. That puts additional pressure on fielders.
I thought it was more than twice.
It might actually be more than twice. I think two are relatively easy, but it looked like the presence of Smith was kind of playing on their minds.
Yeah, so I guess we won't really know how important that Smith and Green innings, those Smith and Green innings were until we see how the West Indies go tomorrow.
Yeah,
but well, this is a lively wicket.
Yes.
Yep, the 4 pacemen of the apocalypse. The Australians, all 4 pacemen from the Australians got a bowl tonight. Scott Boland got the last over. There was quite a cheer went up around the crowd when his name was read out this morning. His cult status sustained.
They did. Unfortunately, I think King only had to play the last ball, didn't he? So he wouldn't have been completely happy with that. I thought Hazelwood was maybe just a little bit wide too. But Starc was beautiful. Starc was just glorious to watch, wasn't he? Absolutely whipping it at pace. Quick.
doing too much. I mean, he hit the pads 2-3 times, you know, and went up.
He went through Anderson.
Clearly,
like he wasn't there. Has anyone bowled that fast at the age of 35? That's the question I asked the other day in my copy. If there's a speed to age relationship, I think Stark's shooting the lights out now.
Well,
he's never been fitter.
I reckon Brett Lee might be in with a shot. I don't know what age he was, but he had like he used to boast, didn't he? Like 15 years at 150 plus or something like that. Then
there was that season in the BBL where they turned up the speed guns. So he was like bowling like 170 kilometres an hour.
And then there was that day they put Piers Morgan in front of him, and I think he might have cracked 200 kilometres an hour from halfway down the pitch. I always admired Piers Morgan for actually fronting up ball after ball in that one. I wouldn't have.
Anyway, the West Indies have done well to get through that last bit, only losing the one. King looks like a player to me. Hit a nice boundary, left a lot of balls, good defence, good sound defence, good temperament. Has he? Yeah, I mean, you know, he has done a bit of opening before, but he's slotted in naturally. That might even be his natural position. Because, of course, we're now looking for a replacement for Craig Braithwaite.
And he is the highest scorer of the series as well, 75, isn't he?
Right, yeah.
Yep, oh, it is. Yeah, you told me that 4 pods ago. Yeah. It's good now that dementia's kicking in. We can just tell ourselves new things. Is that right? Yeah.
It's the great thing, isn't it? It's like playing in the Yarra's D Saturday team and Alzheimer's. You keep meeting new people.
Good stuff.
So
I'm going to cough.
I noticed they got in. I might comment on the. I don't know whether you saw this, Pete, but the West Indies did allow Australia to bowl that additional over tonight. A cagier team, a team like England, for instance,
sharp.
Did you? I mean, did you actually see?
Gideon, sharp
did you see that over? I mean, give me another lecture on the spirit of cricket from England. So Crawley's got hit on the glove, and immediately he signalled to the dressing room. He hasn't talked to the umpire at all. He hasn't said to the umpire, "Can I get some medical treatment?" He's just brought him on like he's his valet.
Yeah.
When the guy gets out there, doesn't do anything. He just has a drink. I mean, it's just that's offensive. That's actually much more offensive than what Alex Carey did at Lords in 2023. Ridiculous.
Is it more offensive than what Nathan Lyon did as night watchman last test? At least he played.
But Nathan Lyon's allowed to do that because he's in a special category.
And he did get hit quite hard, I reckon. Whereas this guy, he didn't even bother pretending he was hurt, did he? But, geez, hey, Gill's got a bit of shit in him, hasn't he?
Doesn't he? He really went for him, didn't he?
He really is like in the Coley mould or the Ricky Ponting mould. He will take people on. He points the finger. He goes hard at them.
I think he's rehearsing that role because there's probably not another natural player in the Indian team to do that.
Yeah.
So he's thinking, okay, well, if there's the vacancy there, I might as well take it on. That's a side of Gill that we haven't seen before. What I
did enjoy was the Indian team giving the sort of you can't give a Bronx applause, sort of ironic applause to the Indian person. They got quite cranky. There's a bit of a send-off here late in the game. And I reckon it was a really ugly send-off, to be honest, Gideon. It's when Stark was bowled by Seal.
Yes.
He got the big, I don't know what he said, but it was directed back to the dressing room and some really nasty kind of words.
I got the feeling that Stark had walked past him, so he didn't actually see it.
He was mouthing off, and in fact, and he even mouthed off over his shoulder. Stark was giggling as he left. I don't know what Stark had done to upset him, apart from
I know.
To have a few lusty swings of the bat, but didn't like it. Don't like those send-offs.
No, I don't like send-off. Send-off is cowardly. You've got the guy out. You don't need to rub it in,
especially when you have twice he pointed and then he came back for a third bite of the cherry. So
I reckon the referee should actually have a look at that.
Door. Yeah,
the referee should have a look at that. Yeah.
Well done. We both agree on that.
Yeah.
So will they get a result in that England Test match? Do you reckon? Because I know they're going to get a result in this one.
Well, I reckon they'll do their best. I mean, neither of England or India are disposed to play for draws, and I think it'll be another high scorer, won't it? Maybe, and India chasing for a change.
Wow. All right then.
Yeah. So I think Australia and the West Indies have got a heap of white ball cricket coming on, but I wanted to mention this. There's been some really important white ball cricket in The Hague. You've probably noticed this, Pete, was Italy have qualified for the 2026 T20 World Cup.
Thanks to the Manenti brothers.
Well, yeah.
And Joe Byrne.
I mentioned this on Offsiders a couple of weeks ago. Joe Byrne's, because of his Italian heritage, becoming captain of Italy. And it's a very moving story, isn't it? He dedicated the victory to his brother, whom he lost last year. It's romantic. It's a sort of a cool runnings story, isn't it? Italy making it through to the T20 World Cup. I'm very pleased for them.
That's a cultural reference I don't get. Cool runnings. There was
you should get it in Jamaica.
They played that movie when we were in Grenada. Colo played it in his room, and they had pizza night, but I wasn't there.
Okay, all right. Fair enough.
Yeah. Maybe you and I can watch it together when you're on tour with me. Would you? Would you do that for me?
Of course. Yeah, of course.
Okay. We've never had a movie night, have we?
No, I don't think we have, actually. It's because we're usually trying to get the pod machine to work. We're trying to remember to turn it on.
Yeah, right. I hope this one's turned on.
And I would say this is high stakes cricket, those qualifiers, because Scotland they lost off the last ball to Jersey, which means that they won't get through to the T20 World Cup. And they're 15th ranked, so they will be very disappointed about that. They play for modestly sized sheep stations in Associates cricket, and that was an unkind cut for our friend Trudy Lindblade, the Australian who is CEO of Cricket Scotland. Tell me about Jamaica, Pete. Tell me about the vibe. It's a pregnant pause.
Well, I did discuss it yesterday. But
At the ground?
The ground.
Tell us about the ground first.
Well, actually, I'm way up high, peering at the ground through very dirty windows. They're pretty good at getting things together at the last minute here. Last test, on the first day, we didn't have power in the press box.
Right.
Today, we didn't have chairs. But I'm pleased to say that by the time the first ball was bowled, there were chairs to sit on.
Right.
And it's a strange point. I can't see the crowd from where I'm sitting because I'm looking up at the Michael Holding end, which has essentially been vacated. That's where the seats from the Atlanta Olympics pool deck are.
Okay, yes. Yeah.
And they're only using the corporate boxes up there. I did briefly go downstairs during lunch and heard some DJs singing and carrying on. That actually looked like fun, to be honest. Actually.
There was.
So I can't see the crowd. I don't know who's here. I can hear them, but they're all below me, beneath me, Gideon.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah.
There was.
It's a terrible place for people to be.
Yeah, I got the feeling from watching the coverage that there was a bit of compulsory fun going on. As you and I call it. It was interesting. There was an interview at tea with Chris Derring, who's the new CEO of Cricket West Indies, and he made an interesting announcement. He said that in future Test matches in the West Indies, kids are going to be not only let in free, but they won't even need a ticket. That's how keen they are to get kids in to watch Test cricket.
Well, look, and I have to take them at their word. They're all talking a good game in every country we go to about trying to put the shoulder to the wheel for West Indies cricket. God knows they need to. And it's not just their fault. As we discussed the other day, the whole world needs to get behind West Indian cricket. Yeah, well, I was hoping more people would show up. What day is it here today? It's Saturday, isn't it? Yeah. It's cooler in the evening session. It makes a bit more sense to come to the cricket when it's like this. But the the Kingston Cricket Club was pretty full. Not that it's, but I mean, it's like twice the size of the Yarras, that little stand over there. No, I'm sorry, I can't give you much colour. I'll try and get out tomorrow. I'm actually going to have a mate in the crowd tomorrow.
Yeah.
I've got to run, Gid.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all we've got time for on Cricket Italia. Been great to have you with us. Please come back this time tomorrow when we'll have a summary of the second day's play. But in the meantime, it's goodbye from me.
Yeah, it is. Good night from him.